You're listening to The Building Code. I'm Tom Houghton.
I'm Paul Worth.
And today on our episode, we're joined by our very own Andy McCarville.
Yes. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you letting me be on.
Andy, why don't you go ahead and give our listeners an idea of what you do here for Buildertrend? You've been here for a very long time, so give a little bit of your background for us.
So I've been here 8 years, Tom, and I'm a technical services manager. I started as a...
what the heck does that mean?
Yeah. I'll get into that.
Okay.
So I started off as a Buildertrend coach or client service manager, client success manager, and I did that for about 6 years. And then I moved into a role as a technical service manager, which basically, if a client has an idea or suggestion, I try to take down as much information, organize that as much as I can, and get that to our engineers. And then our engineers kind of take the ball and run with it and try to implement that suggestion or idea into the program. Then we have people that call in about issues they might run into. Well, we try to diagnose those as technical services managers, try to recreate that issue, and shoot that up to our engineers as well, our developers, and they fix the issue. And then we let the customer know when it's fixed. So kind of we're the go-between between our customer success team and the development and engineering team.
You're like the crucial link between the two.
Yeah, I think we're important.
I think you are.
Typically, our TSMs are the most knowledgeable of our product, right?
Yeah.
I would say the tenure as a customer success manager kind of blends into that TSM role. So the longer you're with Buildertrend, the more you're capable of being a technical service manager. So
good.
So for all the listeners, this is our second installment of what we're calling the Feature Spotlight.
That's correct.
And the intent of the Feature Spotlight segment is kind of get away from the normal interview process and dive into Buildertrend. We have chosen daily logs. And so today we want to talk about that feature. And for all the listeners, if you're a client, hopefully you find out about things maybe you don't know, some of the functionality there.
Yeah.
If you're not a client, we can talk to you about how using a feature like daily logs can help your business, because pretty much every feature has one common thread, which is we're going to help streamline or save you time or money. So we'll talk about that. And then we're going to go into fun facts about Andy.
Oh, boy.
That's my favorite part.
Just the fun facts about Andy or fun facts?
All of the above.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You get really excited about that.
I do.
All right. So daily logs. What is a daily log?
Yeah, I mean, simplest terms, it's a journal entry, you know. Mm-hmm. It's a way for a customer, one of our clients, a builder, to go in and kind of jot down what took place on a project on a specific day. It was one of the first things that I went over because it's so easy to use. With a builder that's brand new using our program, a client, I would hop into daily logs right away and just say, hey, if there's one thing you can get going on today, it's being able to jot down what's going on the project and get that information out to a number of people without having to spend a lot of time.
Yeah, I feel like the layout of it just kind of walks you through some simple steps, right? You know, name, date's automatically there.
Yep.
You can add the weather, conditions, add photos really easily.
Yeah, it really started off as kind of just two fields, the log area or description area, and then a separate field for weather notes. And that was stuff you had to manually enter in. We've transitioned this tab a lot over the years, and now you are pre-filled with a date, or you can backdate if you need to put one in for, you know, yesterday, if you forgot a day. And then you can check a box that basically automatically puts the weather conditions at the point of you putting that daily log in, which is a very nice feature.
It's a great feature. It's a common term in construction. The definition would be, this is how you communicate things that have happened on the job site. But what I've seen in our clients, and maybe you can attest to this, Andy, is that it's not just that. Because it's so easy to use, it's actually our most popular feature, probably because of the ease of use and flexibility. And I'll let you talk about the flexibility, but I want to talk about different scenarios in which you can use it. And I preach this when we talk to our prospects, and I think your team preaches this when you talk to our clients, is a daily log is not just that single incident when a team member from your team goes out to the field and says, this is what happened today. It can be so much more than that.
Sure.
So what I always say is like two ideas. Number one, end of the week, Friday, your team talks about what happened on the week, and it's for the client. So if you've got a client involved and you want to give them a weekly summary, take 30 seconds, use the voice to text feature, say, here's what happened today, add all the photos from the week, maybe a video. I know you like that.
I love the video.
We'll let you get into that.
Okay.
Patience. And then send that out to the client, because one cool thing about the daily log is you can decide who gets to see each one, permission levels and notifications.
Yeah.
Another good one would be let's say you're taking office manager is taking a phone call from a client.
Sure.
Why just have that conversation in just that silo? You know, you can teach your team to take that conversation, or even while it's happening, type it out, put it in a daily log, and share with the team so everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a way to connect. There's gaps. There's communication gaps all over the place. This is one way to kind of seal that gap, you know, is using that daily log.
And keep a history of who said what when. You'll find that a theme within our product a lot of places. The time and date stamp and who said that and sort of where it left off.
I like your use of the internal. You like using it internally, not also externally. And then, of course, you can set those permissions right there at the very bottom of the daily log.
Sure.
So
you can also default that. There's a setting tab where you can go in into your daily logs, and you can determine right there who you want to share that daily log with across every daily log that you create. So you can set those defaults right away when you set up your account for the first time. So that way you're only sharing daily logs as a default with maybe internal users, and then you can turn on the option to share it with your sub or your customer.
can you do that on a per job basis?
No, that is across.
It's across the whole
jobs.
of the account.
Yep.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is you can template your area of notes. So there are a certain percentage of people who come to our business and have already got maybe like a written form of a daily log, and they've got it structured the way they want.
That's right.
And some common things would be like employees on the job, subs on the job, where the deliveries today, what equipment was on the job, whatever it is, whatever's important to your business. Through the help of your Buildertrend coach and onboarding, you can actually get that templated. So that's the structure of your log.
100%. You have the ability to go in and kind of format it. There's a few things that you can't bold things, or you can't highlight or make colors or anything like that, but you can go in and structure it the way that you'd like. So that way someone has a structure that they can follow when they're going through and filling out a daily log. Now, custom fields is something we haven't even knocked the door down on yet in this conversation. That's a huge part of this tab as well, is being able to utilize custom fields. We have so many great opportunities for you to build out the custom fields that you want to track information. You can run some reports off of those custom fields. And not to mention that we have just now, like in the last month, created a tool where you can print one daily log at a time if you need to. Something a lot of our realtors were looking for. You can only print out all of them at once.
So previous to this, you were just printing out the entire selection of daily logs.
Yeah.
That's a lot of paper.
Yeah, a lot of paper.
Yeah.
So now you can just...
You're saving trees in your job.
You can identify one daily log and just print that one daily log out.
Daily log, custom fields and daily logs is widely used for a lot of reasons, but what are some good examples?
Yeah, you kind of mentioned one earlier with the equipment. I mean, if you have a few different things that you're kind of wanting to track as far as where your equipment is on what project, that sort of thing, then create a custom field, drop down where your equipment with your equipment options, and that way the site manager can select which equipment they're using on that day. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is there is GPS tracking on daily logs when you're using your mobile phone too. So right there, you can GPS stamp where your equipment is within that daily log.
I've turned GPS off on all my personal devices. I don't want people knowing.
Feeling a little too tracked by the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You too, right?
No,
but
I'm
then
good.
there's
your whole life is a GPS. Your Tesla everywhere.
Then there's internal users, sub-trades, partners, that sort of thing, where there are pre-filled drop-downs that you can create as custom fields where you want to just let everyone know who's out on site that day, who's visiting, that sort of thing. So you can track that information as well using a custom field.
We're going to keep going down the daily log string of how great it is. And one thing I want to bring up is comments, right? You'll find comments on pretty much every feature where it applies. But what is a comment?
Comment is a way to just continue a discussion without having to edit the original daily note, the log that was created.
So a business owner is reviewing his daily logs from his project manager from the day. And Chris is the project manager, and he said, hey, here's what happened today. And Bill's the business owner. He can go in and go, hey, Chris, what about this?
Sure.
And it's inside that daily log, and it's time and date stamped.
Yep.
And then we can reply back.
Exactly. There's notifications built right into it, so that way the person's pinged right away that a comment's been added, and they can go in and add additional comments. And
we can, of course, set those permissions so that way they stay internally amongst the team, or you could have comments outside.
Absolutely.
Going to the
That's
clients.
built into the comment right there. So when you're adding it, you can determine whether you want to share it internally with your trades, with your customer.
Perfect.
One last story I have is I talked to one of our clients at Buildertrend University. And what he said is daily logs are so important for him because they were working on 5 or 6 jobs at a time, like most people do. You're not just working on one job. And as a business owner, you're probably out trying to sell the next job, plus manage relationships with the jobs you're doing with your clients. And so what would happen if he got a call from a homeowner, he would have them leave him a message. And before he called back, he would go find that job, go through the last 2 weeks of daily logs. So he was super informed of what was going on and then call the client back. And he said when he started doing this, the clients appreciated it and just his relationship with them totally changed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you follow me there?
I did.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I guess my follow-up to that would be then this is taking us down a rabbit hole with this story, but I guess was he not sharing the daily logs with the clients then?
No, not everybody
Or he
does. Because a lot of the daily logs are for internal purposes only.
Okay.
Like the project manager is telling the owner or the office manager or the whole team, this is what happened today.
Yeah.
Like typically, and maybe you can speak to this, they're really choosing once or twice a week. And that's a different kind of log, right? Because you want to, you don't want to get into the minutia of what happened or mistakes that were made.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can choose when to share with the homeowner.
Yeah, absolutely. Not every daily log is going to be shared with the owner. And I think a lot of builders think that the owner doesn't want to see a daily log, which could be farthest from the truth. I think owners really want to see that information if it's once or twice a week. That way they kind of know what's going on the job without having to send a text or send a message or make a phone call.
Yeah. I think, again, they're going to be surprised to hear that most people want to be in the loop on this stuff. Yeah. Again, and I think also the benefit, it may seem like a big ask, but the benefit is then they're not going to have to ask you all the questions of like, what happened on the job today? You know, why does my house, why is it missing a roof still or something, you know?
Yeah. You know, any way to
missing a roof. I mean, really,
any way to shore up communication and just be as upfront as possible with your customer, I think is a definite positive. So
for sure.
Well, before we get into Tom's favorite Q&A part.
Well, I did want to, we didn't bring up photos very much.
We didn't bring up video either.
We didn't?
You said patience. My patience has run out.
Fire away.
Let's go with photos first.
Well, yeah,
Let's talk about photos.
What's great about daily logs is the ability to attach photos. I think a lot of people are utilizing that. Now that you can take that photo and throw it right into an album now too. That used to not be a capability within our program. To where you could copy a photo from one album to another. So daily logs is its own album. You can copy that photo from a daily log album to one of your master albums that you have set up in your photos tab. But it's just a great tool because pictures tell 1,000 words, right? I mean, that's a saying, I'm pretty sure.
It is
close. I don't know if it's
a picture's worth 1,000 words. That's why I say videos are so much better because there's
good segue.
See?
So with that, I mean, you can only type so much. Just let the photo do the talking, right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I right?
That's what I'm saying.
So just to recap, every photo you take in, let's just round numbers because it's hard for me to carry the one, 100 daily logs.
Yeah.
And there's 3,000 photos in 100 daily logs. Those are all automatically organized into an album for me in your photos section. And now you have the ability to go into the album and say, hey, I want these 10 to go to the owner view or the view where the owner has of the photo album.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Thanks.
One more quick thing about the photos that we haven't talked about is how it could help in a liability issue.
Sure.
Our producer, Brooke, just gave us a great stat from a landscape company that saved $45,000 on a claim because they were taking photos and they had the proof in the daily log.
That's incredible.
I'm sure there's a lot of those stories. If we have listeners out there that have those stories, I think Brooke and our marketing department would appreciate.
Yeah, and you can email those stories to podcast@buildertrend.com.
Excellent.
Love that email address.
Yeah, that's a great one.
It's an easy one to remember.
Yeah.
Okay, now you get to talk about videos.
Okay, so videos. I feel like a lot of people who use daily logs most likely as project managers.
Yes.
Right? So they're going out on the site, they're taking videos. You can use those videos in your marketing if you just give them a couple tools. So cheap tools that we talk about, stabilizers that you can get for your iPhones or your Android, and you can take video of the job site, and it's kind of like a dual purpose. One, it can go to the daily log, so you've got a record. But the second thing is then you can actually keep that stored in Buildertrend because, of course, unlimited storage. Shout out there, fantastic tool.
Right.
But you can use that in your marketing really easily. And there's also, of course, the tie-in in Buildertrend where you can share this stuff on Facebook, on Twitter, or integrations there.
Yep.
That really make it a solid
photos,
play for for photos and video.
Well, one thing that people don't realize until they start doing the video is there's audio. And so you can just take 30 seconds, walk the job, and even though you're not on camera, talk people through what you're talking about. We got this framing done today. You can see that this is done, and we're going to do this tomorrow. And so it's a good way to effectively communicate. You're right.
Absolutely.
Now let's get to know Andy McCarville.
With 3 fun facts with Andy.
3 fun facts.
Okay.
Fact number 1, Andy, heard you're kind of somewhat of a social media star.
Okay.
Because you have an Instagram account, correct?
I do.
With our previous guest in this segment, the Spotlight segment.
Dan Lapari and Andy McCarville.
Yeah.
You guys have been coworkers for a long time, and you guys had created your own Instagram account. For what reason, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Just to be funny.
Yeah. We just kind of, we're best friends at the office. So we just decided, we go out to lunch or, we're at a Buildertrend outing or something like that to take a photo, pop it on that Instagram account, Dan4 and Andy9.
We'll put a link to that.
We'll put a link to that. Don't try to figure that one out.
Yeah.
No.
So 4 was Dan's baseball number
Yeah.
and 9 was mine. So,
Okay, that was really cute.
Yeah,
hey,
he was
you
in the
know
show.
what? I just thought about this. We played against each other.
Did we?
Yeah, I came up to Lincoln Pius, your high school, and because you were a junior and I was a senior,
Yeah.
and we played.
Ron Colley?
Ron Colley.
V. Pius?
That's right.
You guys probably won.
Nah, you guys smoked us.
Okay.
So second question, Andy, you're a father to 2 children and...
And one on the way.
Beautiful wife, Jory.
My beautiful wife, Jory, yeah.
So 3rd child on the way.
3rd child on the way.
Exciting.
We're talking days, people.
Days.
Any day now.
We're in critical countdown.
Yeah.
Final question for you, Andy.
Yeah.
What is your personal favorite feature in Buildertrend?
Ooh, geez. Daily logs is a great one. I always brought up change orders in the trainings as my favorite tab, just because of how easy that tab is to use, how you can really get information to your customer and get them signed off on that change order as quickly as possible. Very powerful, and it's a moneymaker. I mean, one thing that I heard, another story, just from being at trade shows, things like that, people would come up to me and say, change orders alone, that tab with maybe 1 or 2 jobs pays for Buildertrend. Just using that tab and collecting money on those changes that customers think just fall off trees. I don't know, using that change order tab, getting that contractual agreement, that binding agreement, and holding them accountable to pay you.
I asked that question as a segue because that will be our next
That
feature
will be.
spotlight, change orders.
You thought I was going to say change orders?
No, well, I mean, I hope you did.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
gonna
like
do
that
that.
one.
It's a good segue.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks. Andy, thank you so much for answering those questions.
Congratulations.
Thank
to
you.
you and your beautiful wife.
I appreciate
Child number
that,
3.
yeah.
We're excited for you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hey, we'll post a picture of the baby on the show notes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That'd be great. So Buildertrend.com.
With your permission, of course.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
we'll see how the baby
Maybe it'll just blur out the face. Yeah.
I mean, we were known to make beautiful babies, but we'll see. Yeah.
You never know. Third time's the charm. Should be the best,
There
right?
you go.
Yeah.
I was the 3rd, so.
You were the 3rd.
Yeah.
And look at how it turned
Yeah,
out.
I was gorgeous, baby.
Thank you again, Andy, for
Yes.
joining us. Make sure
Yes.
you check out the show notes at buildertrend.com/podcast to find out what do you know what the gender is?
No,
It's a surprise this time, right?
they've all been surprises, and this is
But this is a
The third surprise.
tiebreaker because you have
Yeah.
a boy and a girl.
I do have a boy and a girl. Yep.
So check out the show notes page to find out which Andy had, a boy or girl.
Yeah.
Mystery.
Also, don't forget to subscribe and rate our podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Building Code.
Appreciate you.